Hello students, welcome on my YouTube channel Physics by Pradeep Kumar. Uh, this is the second lecture related to the IIT JM, NET, JRF, GATE, AFR, etc. in which we studied about the mathematical physics. First of all, we take here vector algebra. Okay, so see. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the addition of analytical method of addition of any two vectors. Suppose we have these two vectors, vector A and this is vector B, and the angle between them is theta. Then we want to find out the resultant vector of these two vectors analytically, mathematically. You know very well about that the methods to find out the resultant of any two vectors are of two types: geometrical method and analytical method or mathematical method. Here we want to find out the resultant vector of vector A and vector B by the help of analytical method. Okay, and in the last lecture we have obtained a relation for the resultant of any two vectors by the help of analytical method, which is the resultant vector, the magnitude of the resultant vector of A and B is equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Okay, equation first. And the resultant vector you know very well about will be between them A and vector B. This is vector R. Okay, there are many special cases. There are many special cases. First case, if vector A and vector B are in same direction, then vector A will be like that and vector B will be like that. Okay, both are in same direction. So we can say that angle between the vector A and vector B is 0 because these two lines are parallel to each other. Since resultant R equals to under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, then the value of R will be A square plus B square plus 2AB cos 0, and the value of cos 0 is 1, so we can write this A square plus B square plus 2AB, which is the whole square of A plus B, and the square of the A plus B cancel out by the square root of this term. So this will be equals to A plus B. That is, we can say that the magnitude of the resultant vector of any such vectors which are parallel to which are in same direction will be the sum of the magnitudes of these two vectors, and which is the maximum value of the addition of any two vectors, because R will be maximum if this term is maximum, and this term will be maximum if the cos theta factor is maximum, and cos theta will be maximum if theta is 0 degree, because the cos 0 have the value equals to plus 1. Okay, remember this point. Case second, if vector A and vector B are in opposite direction, then are in opposite direction, then vector A be A in this direction and vector B will be in this direction. Okay, then this angle will be theta equals to 180 degree. Okay, see here clearly, I consider here magnitude of A is greater than magnitude of B, because the length of the arrow of vector A is greater than the length of the arrow of vector B. Okay, that is magnitude of A is greater than B here we considered. Then R will be equals to under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos 180 degree, and the value of cos 180 degree is minus 1. Okay, so this will be minus 2AB, and this is the whole square of A minus B or B minus A. Okay, since A is greater than B, so we take here A minus B to the whole square. Okay, and the square root cancel out the square, then we get A minus B. Take here only in positive value, because the magnitude of any vector quantity always have positive value, and you know very well this value will be minimum if this value is minimum, and this value will be minimum if this value is minimum, and the minimum value of cos theta is minus 1. So, and minus 1 will be possible if theta is 180 degree. That means this value of the resultant vector of any two vectors will be A minus B, their differences. Okay, so this will be R minimum. Okay, remember this point also. Now next point is, if vector A and vector B are mutually perpendicular to each other, like that, vector A is this and vector B is this. This is vector A and this is vector B. This angle is theta is equal to 90 degree. Then cos 90 is equal to 0. So implies that resultant vector of these two vectors will be equals to A square plus B square plus 0. That is A square plus B square. That means it satisfies the relation, it satisfies the PGT, Pythagoras theorem, in that condition. Okay, these are the special cases of the resultant of any two vectors. I think you understand clearly. These are the basic parts of the vector algebra. Okay, after that I will define some basic definitions to form mathematical representation of any vector. Okay, for this, first of all we discuss here polar vectors, axial vectors, and equal vectors, reciprocal vectors, unit vectors, null vectors, etc. Okay, so notes these things on your notebook. Okay, now after this we take the different definitions of the different types of the vectors, which are very useful to understand the many problems in EMT, atomic, nuclear, condensed, etc. Now, first definition is equal vector. Equal vector. Equal vector means magnitudes are equal. Magnitudes are equal as well as direction are same. डायरेक्शन भी क्या होगी? सेम होगी. ओके, like that this is vector A and also this is vector B. Both vectors have same direction and the length of the arrows also same. Okay, so the magnitudes of vector A and vector B also same. Mode of vector A will be equals to mode of vector B, and remember this condition, which is very important to prove any theorem related to the geometry by the help of vector concept. And vector A is parallel to vector B. Okay, then vector A will be equals to vector B. Okay, if any two vectors are equal, then then implies that mode of vector A will be equals to mode of vector B, and A vector will be parallel to vector B. Okay, that means both lines are parallel and equal in length. Okay, suppose you want to show that any quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then for this we have to show that vector A equals to vector B, vector C equal to vector D. Okay, so now come back on next definition, null vector. Okay, null vector. Null vector is nothing but a vector which have magnitude 0, but if the magnitude of the vector is 0, then the length of the arrow will be 0, and if the length of the arrow is 0, then it will be a point, and if this is a point, then its starting and final point are same, coincide to each other. So we cannot decide here what is the final and initial point of this point. So we cannot decide here the direction of the null vector. So there is no physical meaning of the null vector. There is no physical meaning of null vector, okay, but it's a mathematical requirement, only. For example, if we have two equal vectors in opposite direction, okay, then the resultant of these two vectors will be suppose like that, okay. Resultant of vector A plus vector B, and vector A plus vector B is equal to minus vector A, then this will be 0 vector. To solve this problem we use a mathematical tool, 0 vector, okay. There is no physical significance of 0 vector. Now next is very important, polar vectors. Polar means any vector which have a pole, and pole means a point. Any vector which have a starting point, that vector is known as polar vectors, okay. Any vector which have a starting point, or point of action or point of application or action is known as polar vector. For example, position vector, it's a starting point and it's a final point. Position vector R, it's a polar vector, okay. Force, it's a starting point acting on a object and it's a final pointer. See on the board, the polar vectors have a linear directional effect, okay. So we can write another definition here. The vector associated with a linear directional effect are called polar vectors. For example, position vector, displacement, linear displacement, velocity, linear velocity, force, etc. Okay, and another definition of another vector is axial vector. Okay, axial vector axial vector means which have a axis, which have an axis, that means whose direction denoted by a axis. Okay, not a starting, not a final point. Okay, so for example, so you know very well about the torque or angular velocity. Angular velocity and torque have its like that rotational effect whose direction denoted by this axis, have rotational effect, and the direction of this physical quantity is denoted by this axis, not a starting, not a final point. Okay, so the definition of axial vectors is the vectors associated with rotation about an axis are called axial vectors. For example, angular acceleration, velocity, torque, angular momentum, etc. And last type of vectors, which is very important according to me here, to form the mathematical representation of any vector, is unit vectors. Unit vector is nothing but that vector which have magnitude is 1. Magnitude is unity. Okay, any vector is said to be unit vector which have magnitude equal to 1. That and it is denoted by taking a cap on the vector notation, a cap, b cap, c cap, etc. Okay, now we form a unit vector of a given vector. Okay, so suppose A be any vector whose magnitude is A, mod A. Mod means length of the arrow, and length of the arrow also known as norm of that vector. Okay, norm of that vector, which is a positive quantity. Now we want to define a unit vector. Unit vector means it's also have direction, but magnitude is 1. So its magnitude is mod A. So the magnitude of this vector will become equal to 1 when if we divide this vector by mod A, then the magnitude of this vector will be equals to 1 and this vector is denoted by A cap. Okay, वेरिफिकेशन देखिए, सी वेरिफिकेशन. If we take here the magnitude of unit vector A cap, then the magnitude of vector A by mod of vector A, and this will be equals to mod of vector A divided by mod of vector A. And you know very well, 2 times mod of any vector quantity will be same. If you take mod of vector A, then it will be a positive quantity like that 5. If you take again mod of this quantity, then it will also be 5. So there is no effect of if we take mod more than 1 times. Okay, this will be equals to 1, which is a unity. Okay, so and here a question is arises that, but why unit vectors are very interesting factor to form the mathematical representation of any vector. See on the board in next section why unit vector are very, very important. Implies that vector A equals to mod of vector A into A cap. That means if you want to represent any physical quantity in vector form, then you have requirement of its magnitude and a unit vector in the direction of that vector. Okay, you have a requirement of a unit vector in the direction of that vector. You know very well, in real space we have maximum 3 directions. Maximum 3 directions. So if we try to solve the problems of real space, then in that case we have requirement only 3 unit vectors. Okay, so for this we define 3 unit vectors along x axis, y axis and z axis, which is denoted by I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay, so see here, orthogonal unit vectors in Cartesian coordinate system. We have 3 mutually perpendicular axes, x, y and z axis, and the order of the axis is fixed. If this is x, then this y, then after that this z. If this is x, then this y and then this z. If you change the order, then the calculation of overall mathematics will be different. Okay, you know about this point? If you know, please comment. If you don't know, then also comment. Okay, so also we discuss we will discuss about the order of the coordinates axis of the coordinate system. If we change the order of the coordinate axis of the Cartesian coordinate system, what will be the effect on the mathematics of the vectors? Okay, so see now. So suppose along this unit vector is I cap, along this unit vector is j cap, along this unit vector is k cap. Okay, you know very well about the Cartesian coordinate system, so we cannot write more about the Cartesian coordinate system. I take here only these two things. The unit vectors along the coordinate axis is known as orthogonal unit vectors. In case of Cartesian coordinate system, in case of Cartesian coordinate system, in case of Cartesian coordinate system, the unit vectors along x, y and z axes are denoted by I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay, and the property of unit vectors is this: magnitudes of the unit vectors are equals to 1 and mutually perpendicular to each other. That means the angle between I and j equals to angle j between k, angle between k and I is equal to 90 degree. Okay, remember these points regarding unit vectors. Okay, after that we will define a vector in terms of the unit vectors, which is the mathematical representation of any vector. So mathematical representation of any vector in Cartesian coordinate system. Suppose we have here a point P whose points is x, y and z. Okay, then the position vector of this vector will be this. Okay, define it here. Suppose this position vector is R. Vector OP is equal to vector R will be equals to what is? See here, first of all we consider Cartesian coordinate system in a plane, that means x-axis and y-axis. Then this vector will be equivalent to this. If you want to go from here to here, then there another chance. If we go from here to here and after that here to here, then this will be goes from here to here. Use here the concept of the vector addition. That means this vector will be equal to addition of this vector and this vector. And here the distance is x. Sorry, here is y and here is z. Okay. Then this vector will be equals to y, and you know very well this will be vector becomes when we multiply the direction unit vector along this direction, and the movement of the person along this direction is along y axis. So we will multiply here j cap, and here we multiply here by k cap. Similarly in the direction of x axis we multiply by I. So we can say that here in along x axis distance covered by the person is x, and direction along opposite axis, so the unit vector along opposite axis. Using the property of addition of vectors, second distance along y axis, so multiply by j cap and z into k cap. This is the position vector of any point in vector form. And now second is displacement vector, like this. Suppose this is, take another example. This is x axis, y axis, z axis. Here another point is a, sorry, x1, y1, z1, and another point is x2, y2, z2. Then the position vector of this point is r1, and position vector of this point is r2. And I want to find out this displacement vector from P to Q. Then see here, displacement vector. Displacement vector. Okay, displacement vector. Basic part today will be complete. So see here, displacement vector. For displacement vector, first of all find out vector r1 is equal to OP, which is equal to x1 I cap, y1 k j cap, z1 k cap, and r2 equals to OQ will be equals to x2 I cap, y2 j cap, and z2 k cap. Then use vector addition law. Vector PQ will be equals to, what is, we go from P to Q, which is equivalent to from P to O to Q. PO vector plus OQ vector, and we have information about OP, so it can be converted into negative vector. Direction just opposite OQ. That is OQ minus OP. You can use here direct the definition of displacement vector. You know very well about the displacement vector is nothing but final position minus initial position. Okay, and OQ minus OP is x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 into k cap. Okay, this is P. Okay, if we consider here this is vector A, then this will be implies that vector A equals to, suppose this is vector A1 I cap, this is vector A2 j cap, this is vector A3 k, where this is vector A, this is vector A1, and this is A2, and this is A3. Okay, remember this point. Now this is the mathematical representation of any vector. Now we know very well any vector have two informations, magnitude and direction. So there we want to find out the direction of this vector and the magnitude, which is very important point here. See, which relate the physics with the mathematics also. Okay, see, Now, first of all, we want to find out their magnitude, its magnitude. What is its magnitude? See, on the board, clearly, what is the magnitude of this vector? Try to understand. You know very well about, this is the magnitude of this vector, and this is the length of this vector, and the length of this vector is the distance between the point P and Q, and you know very well about the formula of the distance between 2 points PQ, or magnitude of vector A equals to PQ, which is the distance between 2 points, and equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 to the whole square plus y2 minus y2 y1 to the whole square plus z2 minus z1 to the whole square. If you have any doubt, please ask, but it's a very basic formula which you are which you have studied in the previous class on the 11th level. Okay, so which is equal to x2 minus x1 is a1 square, y2 minus y1 is a2 square, and z2 minus z1 is a square. This is the mode of vectoring. And now we want to find out the information of the direction of this vector mathematically. See, if we take a plane and we draw a line here, then the direction of this line can be defined by a single angle from x-axis. Theta is 90 degree, theta is 30 degree, theta is 40 degree. By the help of this angle, we can define the direction of this line, because if it is 30 degree, then it will be 60 degree. There is a one chance only, which is defined in terms of gradient or slope. Okay, here there is a problem in 3D axis. In case of 3D, suppose like this is 3D. If it is a line here, then there is an angle, suppose 30 degree, and it will be 60 degree. But there are many configurations where is 30 and 60 degree pair possible, because here x-axis and y-axis angle, it makes angle different. So to remove this to this problem, we use another concept. We consider here three angles from, suppose this is a line, it makes angle from x-axis alpha, from y-axis beta, and from z-axis gamma. Okay, then there is only one configuration is possible for these angles. Okay, so we define here three angles. In this case, suppose this is x-axis, y and z, and this is a line. Suppose this angle is alpha, this angle is beta, and this angle is gamma. Okay, then find out the value of alpha. You know very well about this is PQ. Suppose like that, and this is PQ. Okay, then what is the relation for alpha? We know about base and hypotenuse, so we can define here cos alpha equals to base upon hypotenuse. Base upon hypotenuse, base is, see here, base will be this value is, suppose x1, and this value is x2. Base will be equals to x2 minus x1, x2 minus x1, and divided by its hypotenuse mode of vector A. Okay, which is denoted by L. And cos beta same as y2 minus y1 divided by mod of factor A, which is equal to m, and cos gamma z2 minus z1 upon mod of factor A equals to n. Okay, these are here L, M and N are known as direction cosines of a straight line in 3D. In case of 2D, we define slope on gradient. Okay. So in the next section, we define a property related to the direction cosines. Here implies that take the sum of squares of direction cosines, and square will be cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma, and it will be equals to, put the value here, x2 minus x1 to the whole square by mod of vector a square plus y2 minus y21 to the whole square by mod of a square plus z2 minus z1 whole square divided by mod of vector a square. Mod of vector a square comes out common, here x2 minus x1 to square plus y2 minus y1 to the square plus z2 minus z1 to the square, and this is equal to mod of a to the square, cancel out, that is the sum of the squares of the direction cosines are always equal to 1. Remember this point, which is very very important according to the examinations and many problems to solve easily by the help of this problem. In case of condensed matter physics, we also use this property to define, to prove a relation equidistant or distance between two coplanar planes. Okay, so I think I am able to understand to you and teach to you. If you are interested in this part of my lecture series, please comment and increase the subscriber of my YouTube channel, because at that time subscriber almost about 170. Okay, please increase the number of subscriber up to 1000. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.